Is it time to retire from hardcore? I've made it to 5,000 days, I've built just about every farm, I've done loads of impossible things, and it's not easy to come up with new ideas. In the last 1,000 days, I finally finished the Netherite Beacon, the biggest project in my world. Speaking of worlds, the download is in the description. I also built a machine that one-taps the dragon, which is now completely broken, mainly because I decided to spawn 100 of them. Yeah, I don't think anyone else has this many in their world. I built a custom portal room using update suppression. Had to do that before 1.19 since now the glitch is patched. I made my gas farm way bigger and way better, and thanks to portals I can get extra drops using looting. I got every single goat horn. Yeah, these are just a pointless addition to the game. And I caught a bunch of allays. Did not intend to make them live forever in a glass dome. I should really use them at some point to sort unstackable items. I also gave these lucky frogs a brand new home, using the new mangrove wood to build it, which required this mangrove wood farm and propagule farm. And these lucky frogs had to live in this tiny area and eat magma cubes, so that I could get loads of frog lights. I also built a mud farm that took way longer than it should have done. A skulk farm, which is not good for the many sacrificed endermen. And I defeated the warden. Twice. Then I farmed the warden and disabled the warden. So what's next? Where do I go from here? I could mention my poster, which is signed by me. They're selling out really fast and available on sp77.store. Or I could add lore, although something tells me that might be a bad idea. We'll see what happens with that. So the question still remains, should I continue my hardcore world? Well, there's an app that could actually help me come up with new ideas called VidIQ. I've been using them for years since I had 4,000 subs. And I've teamed up with them so that you can get it for almost nothing. It's used by the biggest YouTubers like MrBeast, and it has this amazing feature called the Ideas tab. Suddenly, coming up with new things to do in hardcore might not be so hard. I transformed the ocean monument, I built every biome, I upgraded this village. Just so many banging ideas, and these are all specific to my audience and to my channel. And for you, they'll be specific for your audience and for your channel. If you use the link in the description, you can get it for just $1. That's 98% off. And if it doesn't work for you, it's only $1. So for such a small amount, it's probably worth giving it a try. It has way more features than what I've talked about, and plus it has worked for me for 5 years. So helped by VidIQ, I have come up with a plan that will take me all the way to 10,000 days. Phase 1, I'm going to spend the next 1,000 days getting ridiculously OP. You think I'm powerful now? Well, I'm going to have the most OP world that anyone has ever had in hardcore history. I'm talking literal immortality, and that does not involve totems. I'll get the ability to control the spawning of every single mob in the game, not just the hostile ones that I can control at the moment. I'll also reach thousands of levels of XP, break the world record for diamonds mined, and so much more that I won't yet reveal. Phase 2 will be steaks. No, not this kind of steak, which the cows will be glad to know, but instead suddenly making things much harder, and I'll be doing much more riskier stuff. I've done many more things in the last 100 days, such as finish the ice farm. I had to make it this big because blue ice is just so expensive. I filled my house with notch apples, then ran out of space, so I then built a massive blackstone pyramid to fill it with even more notch apples. Another thing I recently did was make a vine farm and an AFKable netherwart farm, but there's just no stakes when I do something like this. The riskiest thing I've done recently was trap a warden that made me use about 1 million totems. That was part of the project where I trapped every single mob in this giant room. It took forever, included super annoying mobs like the ghast, the squids were tricky, plus the wither had to be permanently distracted, and the elder guardian stored far away so that I didn't get mining fatigue all the time. Then through here, I have the nether mobs, which include the piglin, the hoglin, and also the piglin brute. They have to be in the nether because otherwise they'd be in a bit of trouble. Plus it also included trapping an ender dragon. Not many people can say they've done that, other than someone like Sandiction. So after collecting every single mob, I then collected every single block. That includes ones like bedrock, the budding amethyst, reinforced deep slate, the end portal frame, the end portal block, mob spawners, basically items that you cannot obtain in survival, but by building in a very specific location, I made them look like they're all part of the collection. And let me assure you, this was a very big project. And I built an entire planet. That was a surprisingly very big project. We have the North Pole at the top, the South Pole at the bottom, I bet you could have worked that one out, and a load of different land masses scattered around. I also don't want to spoil the entire build for you, but if I'm mining here, as you can see, it's completely hollow, with snow inside and one lone spider. So this is what's inside the center of the Earth. So all in all, there's been about 1,200 hours spent on this world. I'm only halfway to my goal. So if you ever have an idea for something that I could build in my world, make sure to leave a comment. I know this is technically my world, but really it's our series because you guys have been here every step of the way. Speaking of steps, I also recently built this blue ice highway that goes on and on forever. If you want to know why the ice caps are disappearing, yeah, it's my fault. A thunderstorm started, which is a perfect time to talk about the mobhead farm. I simply just AFK right here, let mobs spawn in these top bits, and these creepers will become charged, and I use this, and it will send mobs down both sides, where I can then light the charged creeper, and from there, get a mob head. Very, very cool farm. And here I have possibly one of my favorite and most OP things I ever built. I'll just go through the end gateway. Yes, the Void Trading Station. In order to demonstrate, I shall select this fella here, and he ends up being sent to this spot. If I then go through an end gateway, whilst loading his thing, I can trade with him. It says an X there. Then I get pushed back through. Notice what happens at the other side? The trade resets, making this one of the most fastest and most OP ways to get loads of resources. The two main uses for that have been getting glass and quartz, an absolute lifesaver. Speaking of villagers, if we just go down here, I collected every single variant of villager, except one type. There's clearly one missing here, and that's because we've got this poor guy who's forced to look at my sub count until we hit 4 million subscribers. So if you're new, you better press subscribe to save his sanity. I also made this little machine that brought Fred to my world. Long-term viewers will know exactly who Fred is, and he was missed, so yeah, we brought him along for the ride and built him a very nice house that apparently this villager wants to visit. Well, if you want to go through, go for it. Look at that. Fred's now got a friend. Hey, no, you're not coming back now. He realized what he got himself into. Go on then. I'll let you leave. I also made improvements to this aquarium. I started building it thousands of days ago, and it's still not great. But all the axolotls, except the ones that seem to be stuck in the roof, are sorted by different colours. Down here, the walls are now lava. They were just stone before, so that's kind of cool. And we've got loads and loads of fish down here. And eventually I want different creatures in there. And in there, maybe squid, dolphin, turtles, and guardians. Guardians might be a nice one. So the aquarium is in the right direction, but there's room for improvement. And speaking of aquatic stuff, I also built this very simple sea pickle farm. Just in case I, for some reason, need 1 million of them. I've no idea why I would, but you know what they say? It's better safe than sorry. Another very long-term project was also finished, and that is this nether hub. The hub itself was finished ages ago, but each of the 4 tunnels has now been complete. This was the final one, and it just nicely leads down here to the portal that's around all these corridors. Yeah, the portal down there, which takes me to spawn. I will still make other tunnels at some point. For example, this tunnel, if I extend it in this direction, that goes to the end. Do you guys mind? I'm trying to make a video here. But if I extend it that way, it can go to the fortress farm, where I just get loads and loads of witherheads and coal. But that is a long way away, and will be a long tunnel. Another long overdue improvement that was made was the homes of the animals in the animal farm. Each of the 4 ones have their own little barn. Apparently these pigs love it, which is just what I wanted to hear. Look at that. You're trapped now, guys. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that to you. It's just all very nice. I don't know how they got in. How? What? I'm guessing they went on the chest and went in. You guys are just so problematic. I think I should move that chest so that it is instead in the ground. Even though right now I'm on a copy my world, so anything I do isn't canon, so it's kind of a waste of time anyway to care. So what else have I done in the last 1,000 days? Well, there's a recent farm that I completely designed by myself. The Pillager Captain Bank. Complete with a sorting system so I can store them all here. It is a bit of effort moving them around and pressing buttons and stuff, but now they're trapped here forever. Apart from this one guy, how did you even spawn? That really is a mystery to me. Oh, this tiny little section here isn't spawn proofed. Yeah, I probably need to get that fixed. I also think that from a distance, that build looks so cool. That's another new thing. With a diamond pathway, I absolutely love this area, and I love the foggy effect of this. It's like I'm in some misty area. A perfect place to do all my upgrades. And finally, there is, of course, this absolutely massive perimeter with the XP farm. I do need to actually get rid of these flying machines. But this was a massive project designed by Garlic Bread with my idea. You take out one of these, start the farm, fire an arrow right here, and just keep placing TNT. This flaming arrow will light the TNT and make it so that it's me that's lighting the TNT, not redstone. The TNT will then damage these raiders, and as you can see, the XP and the items are also just getting blown up, so there's no lag. Meanwhile, the Ravagers get pushed out with these pistons, fall all the way down here, and drop their XP at the bottom. Then the XP gets collected and fired upwards, straight to me, where I can gain loads and loads of levels. So that's where we are with the series. I'm going to keep going as long as I can, and thank you so much for all of your support.